continue to explore the 7 tarot key cards on the path of the seeker. Today we will be looking at the Moon card. I have always loved this card, but it has a special significance to those of us who walk the path of the seeker. This card is the synopsis of the spiritual path. This image depicts the stages of spiritual awakening and where we are going. First, we have that creepy crawly crawfish coming out of the bay. Remember the bay from the star card? Well, here we see it from a different perspective. That ocean is the same as the primordial underlying consciousness, soup of all things, or absolute unbounded oneness. This is the occult principle that consciousness underlies all physical forms. At the start of our spiritual journey, we emerge from that soup in a somewhat primitive form. Remember that the fish is a symbol for transformative reproductive forces. The crawfish, in particular, shares the qualities of the Egyptian dung beetle symbol. The dung beetle rolls its ball of dung towards the sun every morning, planting its seeds, and by noon that ball of dung bursts forth with life. The hard shell of the crawfish represents the fixed and static state of our egoic structures. This is the belief that we are separate from the rest of creation. This is the same state of mind represented by the Devil card. We are fixated on our unique perception of the physical world, believing that nothing exists outside of that perspective. When our conscious orientation changes, thanks to the wake-up call of the dark night of the soul, that egoic shell cracks open and our new selves emerge. When the crawfish first rises out of that primordial soup, it's surrounded by stones and plants, representing the mineral and plant kingdoms. Next, we come to the wolf and dog that represent the animal kingdom. The wolf is the feral animal condition that is natural to our animal bodies. The wolf is an independent member of a pack driven by survival and the need to reproduce. The dog represents the tamed powers of nature and is entirely dependent upon and loyal to its master. The fact that the path runs between the two dogs suggests that we need to find a balance between these two aspects of ourselves. The 2 towers represent the human world. They are battlements because humans have a tendency to believe they live in a hostile world. Paul Foster Case explains, the 2 towers hint at the warlike nature of the ego. The path rises and falls, but it always ascends. Paul Foster Case explains, when the time comes, the traveler of the path's more depressed states are at a higher state than when he first started. The 2 mountains are Chokmah on the Tree of Life, Wisdom, and Binah, Understanding. The path has been forged by all those who have gone this way before us. As far as the moon is concerned, this is again Hathor, pictured in the star key, and represents the subconscious. The subconscious mind, according to Jason Lauderhead, is a moon reflecting the inner sun that shines at midnight. There are 18 yuds, the same number as this card. The yuds, of course, come from Hermit card, and this path leads to the hermit who stands on the mountaintop, shining down his lantern to those below. 18 is also the same number attributed to the Hebrew chai, which means life. The yuds represent falling life force from above. Both the moon and the red-violet color of this card connected it with Yesod on the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. The Hebrew letter associated with this card is Kuf. This means back of the head. This refers to the medulla oblongata and perhaps the pineal gland that is closer to the back of the head than the front. Sleep is associated with this Hebrew word, and it is when we sleep that we integrate our lessons into our body. This card is associated with corporeal intelligence, which can also be called intelligence of the body or body consciousness. Jason Lauderhead sums up the meaning of this card as, under the auspices of the moon, the path takes you up through the evolutionary process to the peak of understanding. Paul Foster Case sums it up this way. This represents the stage of bodybuilding or organization in accordance with subconscious mental patterns. There has been significant scientific data that meditation has a direct effect on the body, which is one of the reasons yoga is so popular. Lowering blood pressure is just one of the many side effects that have been studied, and some studies seem to indicate that the brains of people who meditate are literally wired differently than the average person who doesn't meditate. The note for this card is B. In the description box below, you'll find a link to my blog. You'll find an image of the card there that you can use to meditate on while playing the sound meditation in the background. I will post a link to the sound meditation in the description box below as well, and it will be embedded in my blog post as well. Well, to wrap things up, I just want to share a quote by Edgar Cayce that just happened to show up at the perfect time in my Facebook feed. In effort, meditation and prayer Our mind is able to build within ourselves whatever is necessary to bring about healing. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating avenue on the path of the seeker. Have a wonderful day.